King of Lightning. How you doing, Cole?
You always got to start with the yo. Always.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's right.
That's legendary. That's legendary. Nah,
yeah, that's my signature right there.
I appreciate you joining me. Long overdue.
Appreciate being here, no doubt.
So like you said, the yo is legendary. We've all said it at some point watching your videos. You know, so I just got to let you know that shit is legendary. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. This is huge. I appreciate it.
I appreciate being here. Appreciate the BDA law. Let me get that right, because I know sometimes it's confusing. Because Brago's been, BDA law. Here we go. Appreciate being here, man. No doubt about that. Love seeing this channel success. Means a lot. No doubt about that. I love seeing just One Piece YouTubers just like in general, like really like blow up and make gains. It's really dope because, like being around for when One Piece was hated on, like when it was slanderous, like, oh, One Piece. Oh,
it was the little brother.
Yeah. Brother. Man, it was brutal. And then just seeing One Piece where it is now, it's a really damn dope thing. It's a really wholesome thing. It really is, man. Love it. Love to see it. You really do.
Nah, it's definitely come a long way. I remember back then when I used to watch, videos, because it was the big three.
Yeah.
The big three. I mean, we got to talk about that a little bit too, because the big three is kind of back.
Yes. Kind of back. Yes.
But back then, when you had Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece around, because I used to watch those videos of yours, which one did you prioritize always?
Naruto, without a doubt.
Naruto.
Yeah, without a doubt. Naruto, last arc, fourth grade ninja war, people going crazy, Madara was popping off, like people losing their head. Like it was, Madara, might as well call Madara. Naruto back in the day was just absolutely like the thing to be in for like the past like 4 or 5. And around that time too, it was like One Piece was in like Punk Hazard, like dress Rosa, right? Slow. And yeah, it was like things were getting slow. People actually tuning out of One Piece hella hard. Bleach was like in the middle
dwindling.
It was kind of doing because of all like that full bring stuff.
Yeah.
And then when the last arc started, the 1,000 Year Blood War, things started like hard for Bleach again. Hard.
Yeah, it was hype.
But Naruto was in like massive stride, man. Like Naruto was the thing, and because Madara was just so damn dope, and then like all like the Hokages were going in, like everything was cold as hell for Naruto. So Naruto was like my main bread and butter moving forward. Then I got into Toriko, and Toriko was I was like the Toriko sponsor.
I remember the Toriko videos.
Toriko was my lifeblood. It was my lifeblood, man.
I remember, like, I swear, like, every title was like, this is better than the last chapter, or this is greater.
Oh, yeah. Toriko was, I love it, man.
The hype levels is crazy.
Oh, yeah. To this day, like, Toriko was just a treat. Like, all the food stuff, all the crazy, like, power scaling, all the crazy moments, I remember a bunch of guys. I think it was like Matt B and a bunch of other guys. We used to, like, just be hard on the Toriko. It was great, man.
Yeah.
Wow, yo.
Nah, I get it. But nah, it's crazy because it's been, how long have you been making videos now? So,
okay, secret reveal, doesn't matter. I started with a gaming channel first for like way back when, for like Halo Reach, right?
Yeah.
And then afterwards I went to anime because I just preferred it more. And I started that around 2010, 2011 when I started doing content. But I was in college for engineering, and I was kind of doing like a mix and match of both between engineering and, university and YouTube.
Yeah.
And then I actually didn't really start doing YouTube like full time, you can say, until like 2018, 2019. So recently.
Okay.
And of course, I'm gonna give a quick shout outs to, like Roger, because Roger actually kind of helped me like understand how I could like take this whole thing and make it into a career. Like make it into something like more of substance, and then like what direction like you can take with that. And so shouts to Roger Bass, because without him, I wouldn't be actually like, I would still probably be like, grad school trying to get like my master's in engineering,
Shout out to Roger.
Shouts to Roger, no doubt about that, no doubt.
Because I remember specifically, I think you talked about how making YouTube videos helped you with like a particular speech.
Yeah, so it's like, because I think I have a speech impediment. I do, because I have like a stuttering problem. Well, I've had a lot of issues when I was in high school, kind of reading and writing and speaking. And then kind of going through YouTube and actually doing videos on a regular basis actually helped me really speak better on a more regular basis. Like when it comes to my pace and when it comes to my cadence, I feel a lot more comfortable now with speaking than I have ever. Like even like when it comes to let's say like reading, I'm not like the greatest reader, but I do my manga read throughs to kind of actually help me kind of orient myself and actually read better. Well, so it's like I'm tackling my problems head first to see like how I can actually like overcome them. So some folks like in my chat say it's like a shonen backstory. I don't think it's like that. Like I'm a shonen main character here. I
don't think it's that dramatic.
But it's like I feel like, you know, these stories, whether it be One Piece, whether for me like Yu Hakusho, I love that show, Rurouni Kenshin,
yes,
Naruto, even like these stories, like, yeah, Hunter, of course, no doubt about that. God bless Togashi, no matter what anyone says, best ongoing mangaka until he's done. I don't care what no one says.
Facts. I'm right there with you.
There we go. So for me, it's like these stories have inspired me so much, and I think maybe we all kind of feel this. So like maybe one day we want to give it a shot ourselves.
Let's talk some One Piece, Cole.
Yes, let's do that. Absolutely.
Are you ready to give up your agenda?
What agenda? Which agenda? I have a lot of agendas.
Your Yonko of Admiral agenda. Is it over?
No. What? Never. Yo, I got more videos coming out. I literally have a series of videos coming out.
Oh my God.
Where Big Mom is gonna roll through each admiral, and she's gonna beat each admiral. And I'm gonna tell you why.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about Big Mom being so devastating, so studly, that Big Mom can beat any admiral in one-on-one combat.
Where is this coming from?
It's coming from the feats. It's coming from the feats, number one. Number two, it's come from how Big Mom treated Marco, and look at how Kizaru couldn't treat Marco the same way. It's looking at Fujitora and Green Bull fight against Sabo and a few good men.
Oh my!
And then Fujitora got wounded. Yes. What do you mean?
He had bandages.
Wounded.
He just had bandages.
Wounded. To do what? To cover wounds. All right.
I mean, Garp had bandages in Marineford.
Because Garp got wounded.
From who?
Luffy. I mean, he was bleeding, wasn't he? I could have sworn he was bleeding.
So, okay, so that's the equivalent. So, Luffy punching Garp at Marineford, and Garp put bandages on.
I'm not saying that Garp was like near death, like he was about to die. I'm just saying that Garp was wounded. That's it.
Right.
Like, look it. For me, right? The admirals are impressive, but when I think about the future of One Piece, right? You have someone like Blackbeard who has 2 Deathroot powers, who's going to be probably like disgustingly powerful. Maybe Imu is like some crazy Kaguya.
Should be strong.
Yeah, probably. I know people like Shasha Taekwon, Gorosei, like all like OD is all hell. Okay, fine, whatever.
Some people do expect that. Shout out to Tai.
Like Sanji's like actual dad,
Sanji's dad,
Gandhi Gorosei,
Gandhi,
like exactly, right?
Yeah.
So cats are like, oh yeah, Gorosei are mad powerful.
Yeah.
When you think about all these dudes, it's like, okay, Luffy has to be like the biggest, baddest dude coming down the series. There's a good chance that he can't really deal with the admirals because the admirals are going to be second fiddle. So who at that point in time among his own peers can deal with the admirals? It's going to be people like Zoro, people like Sanji, people like maybe Yamato if they join the crew. People, they're second fiddle because Blackbeard is going to be doing the crazy things in the world. Imu's going to be even stronger than the admirals. There's a good chance. There's actually a very good chance. Like Akainu is going to be powerful, but like I'll be real, Kizaru is going to be a waste of Luffy's time. The same for Fujitora. The same for Green Bull. They're going to be a waste of his time.
I think it depends on how you see it happening. So I think you're saying that all this is happening at the same time, Blackbeard as well as the world government and Luffy being involved at the same time.
I think it's possible because like Blackbeard could be because like okay, so ideally Blackbeard is going to be like the villain that Luffy faced off to find the One Piece on like Raftail, like near Raftail.
Right.
But
so you don't think that's it for him after that?
I'm not too sure because Imu is always like that X factor of, okay, well, we don't need Blackbeard as like the final villain because Imu exists and Imu's like disgusting in some crazy, like ridiculous way. Right. And Imu is the like representation of what Luffy like hates the most. And so therefore like the true final villain. Okay, fine. But like, okay, is it possible that someone like Akainu is the final villain? Maybe. But what are the odds?
But the thing is, it makes more narrative sense if Akainu is fighting Sabo, in my opinion.
Sabo or Dragon, I'd argue. One of those two.
Yeah, one of those two.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Right?
I'd agree. So
but I think Luffy's fight isn't necessarily going to be like, it has to be Imu, right? I think it makes a lot of sense for Imu or something, somebody like that. I think Akainu is just...
It could be like Sebek. Like people think like Imu is Sebek or something.
It has to be something like that. However, I don't know if the admirals are going to be the main people the Straw Hats are going to be fighting against because it's kind of bigger than them. But after Wano, right? Because Luffy's going to beat Kaido.
Yeah, it's happening. Yeah.
He's going to beat Kaido.
How is going to be interesting, but it's happening, which is crazy. Never thought that happened, but, you know.
I feel like when we talked about the Admirals and Luffy and the Yonko 3-4 years ago, it was like Luffy, it felt like Luffy was light years away from the Yonko.
Yeah, honestly. And then the power leaps.
The power-ups, they came rapid.
Chapter 1000, chapter 1010, chapter 1011. I'm like, wait, who is this man? Like, well,
yeah. No, the Red Rock, you know, and like we know in One Piece, typically the more we find out about the characters, the more weaknesses we find, the more vulnerability we find. And we're like, okay, they're strong, but there are ways they can hurt them. Like,
right.
How did you feel after you saw the scabbard stab Kaido? Did it change anything?
Oh, yeah, it had to, because, okay, so here's the one thing that I found very, very odd, right?
Yeah.
During Udon, Luffy was so hell-bent on training his Ryo Haki to bypass Kaido's scales.
Yes.
But then Luffy did no damage to Kaido when he was in base form.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, hold on. So does that mean that Luffy's wrong about something with Kaido? Because in base form, Kaido was fine. And then I remember talking to Eric and Christian, Red Force Podcast with that for a minute now. And it's like, well, his scales may be passive. I'm like, hold on, passive? We've never seen a single zone be passive like that. That's like the first time I've ever seen that in my life. So then the Scabbards...
The mythicals could be different, though.
True.
Yeah.
But even then, we see them always transform into like their actual Death Fruit, states.
Yeah.
So that's always so confusing. And maybe the only thing is like the key thing.
Yeah, Kaido, because he's a creature too.
Right, exactly. So that's what I've been saying for a minute now. But in terms of the actually damaging Kaido, like the Ryo Haki being like the main thing there, it had to change my tune because I had the idea at some point that Zoro fight against Kaido because you actually want to fight against Kaido. Yes. But I'm like, are we actually be able to damage Kaido? But the Scabbards did. I'm like, okay, fine. So the Scabbards did it, then Zoro or Luffy, that's got to be a guarantee, without a doubt. Right. But it seems like, and you've noticed now, I think that's Kaido's main thing about his durability is more so like, he can like endure a lot more damage. Like almost like a pseudo Whitebeard. Like he can tank attacks, but also he can like take a lot of damage.
He can take a lot.
So it kind of changed up until that point.
It's weird though, because Kaido sometimes he'd take a lot of damage, then we see him a few chapters later and he looks like he's fairly fresh.
Right.
Like, is he healing or, you know what I'm saying? Where for Whitebeard, the damage stays. He's enduring a lot of it. So it's just like for Kaido,
that zone ability, that zone, like that zone regen thing going on.
Yeah. So for Kaido, it's a bit different. I mean, my perspective of the Yonko was always, okay, they're powerful, right? They're the foremost powerful pirates. That's how they've been built up. But things are never as they seem in One Piece. For instance, I was thinking about Rocks today and how every time Oda draws Rocks or mentions Rocks, it's like menacing. It's like he's the evil. I don't think that's how this man was at all. I don't think that's how it's going to look once we meet him. I think that's what the world government wants you to think, but it's going to be like, it's like, sometimes when we see Shanks from a different perspective when somebody else talks about Shanks.
Right.
And he looks like absolutely menacing.
Right, but he's mad chill. Yeah.
But he's super chill.
Yeah. Like he's always vibing. Yeah.
Always chilling. I think Rocks is going to be the same thing where it's like, we're going into it like, oh my God, this is this fucking evil bastard that wanted to kill everything.
That's very possible. Yeah, it's very possible. Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's going to be different. Now for Kaido, when we talked about, the Suicide 795, we'll never forget that chapter. It was just like, oh, he's a man that was searching to die. I was like, bro, it's some issues going on with Kaido. I was like, there's something going on with Kaido. We're going to find out more about it. Now, even in the recent chapter, Kaido looked like he was like Luffy and Roger starting out on his journey.
Yeah.
Wanting to change the world.
Yeah, so what happened there, we don't know.
Right.
But like what's interesting with Kaido is that Kaido during the fight, like he gets the Scabbards, he's kind of still, I think, mentioned like you guys aren't Oden, but he said like, I love the samurai way. So like there's some weird honor thing to Kaido's like honor system, but then he also kind of still wants to die-ish, like, but he's trying to find someone worthy to like do it and like protect
he wants a great death. He wants a great death.
Yeah, he wants a great death, probably to like match the deaths of Roger or Whitebeard. Like be like a legend like them in his own way. But he still wants to have like his like I think he wants to be Pirate King to die. Like, I think he wants to be Pirate King so like he can actually have like this crazy finale, be remembered as like the overlord tyrant of the world who died a crazy death and so on and so forth.
Create a legend.
So, yeah, right. To be a legendary figure.
Because remember, everybody really that he's been around is somewhat legendary, right? Like when you talk about someone like Big Mom and her coming up, and like as a kid had 500 million berry bounty, destroyed giants in Elbaf with Whitebeard. We know the legend around him. Roger, Shiki, Rocks. It's just like he was surrounded by greatness.
Like he's a legend too, but it's not like in the same, because he's like
not in the same vein,
right? Not in the same vein. Like he wants to be like an apex. Like I want to be up there with Roger,
with those guys,
with Whitebeard, guarantee. Like he wants that clout. And then so during the fight against Luffy, I think he's kind of excited because Luffy is someone that can really challenge him.
Seems to have that potential, that charisma.
That's why, and I know a lot of people, especially like the Mihawk fanboys, when Kaido had that image of those 5 men, like these great men, and he had Oden, he had Shanks, he had Rocks D. Sebek, he had Whitebeard, and he had Roger. In his mind, these men are like probably like the greatest people he could probably imagine in terms of like a host of things, probably including power as well. But of course, in terms of their impact on the world in various ways, you can't deny. I mean, like Sebek was like the guy that rung in all of like the future Yonko, had a that incident, Garp beating him with Roger, build that legend, of course, Whitebeard. Like these guys are legendary guys, you can argue, that are more legendary than Kaido. Even Oden, like out of nowhere, right? Like Sengoku and Akainu, they know the name Oden. Like, what the hell? What? Yes. Really? Oh, okay. All right. The Chat of Wano.
I think those people, you know, it's hard to look at it. I think strength is necessary for sure. But it's typically hard to look at a list like that because it doesn't have any Marines. You know what I mean? And I think out of any Marine, you gotta respect.
I'm telling you, man.
No, but I think out of all the Marines, Garp, right? Even if you don't have any of the new guys, Garp fought against the Rocks Pirates. You know what I mean? And it's like, took him down. And Kaido, I'm assuming this point in time that we saw in the recent chapter is after God Valley, and they captured him. They took him in.
Well, we've been known that he got captured. He got captured, I think it was like 7 times, but he still broke out.
But that's what I'm saying. So somebody that like could possibly do something like that, you got to respect, right? And somebody that would fight alongside Roger. Garp is legendary as well, but for different reasons. It's not the same.
I'm not denying that like Garp is not legendary, but I think there's orders of like there's a tier system to legendariness. It is what it is. I think Kaido has his own.
In regards to legends, Garp is in the top of the top.
In
next
Legends,
to Roger and Rocks.
Okay, in Legends he is. I'm not gonna deny that.
Right.
But the thing about it is that, and this is what I asked before, like to like a lot of folks. So I asked a lot of folks, who do you think is stronger, Whitebeard or Garp? And people would argue on both sides of the aisle, but they're both like Roger's right, like they're both Roger's rivals. They both fall into like near death situations, that kind of stuff, and yada yada blah blah blah. But I think all these thinking is like, for example, like Big Mom and Kaido fought for like a day or so. We saw that. Like we saw them. And Big Mom and Kaido, like they, in power terms, they do respect each other. However, Kaido doesn't have Big Mom in his top like list. Why? It's because I think that these people are.
It's more than just strength, I think.
Right. Well, I think it's because he mentions that in terms of Luffy's ceiling in the Viz Media chapter. He says, like, how high can Luffy's ceiling go?
Right.
And because he kind of saw that Luffy, like, I obliterated this kid. Like, this kid should have been a cripple.
Right.
All of a sudden, he comes back even stronger and now he's able to wound me. How is that possible?
But I think, it's like Luffy's different, though, because Big Mom, I think in regards to ceiling, I look at it differently in regards when Kaido speaks now. Because Kaido, when he talks about ceiling and how high can you go, I'm thinking about his conversation or his comments about Joy Boy, about, you know, things that he's interested in, where it's like, how high is your ceiling? Where not only in regards to strength, but also ambition. Right.
So I'm not sure about like, because, okay, ambition wise, we know that Weber didn't have great ambition because he wanted to build a family. Roger did. Sebek absolutely did.
Right.
Oden does not have that same great ambition. Shanks, he just vibes. Like as far as
it's weird.
So it's like, so that's why I say like it seems
it could be
to
a
rely.
Mixture. It's a mixture.
Well, okay, but I would argue it seems to rely far more on combat ability than anything else. Because when he says that, he says it in he's looking at Luffy like, Luffy, you got this strong so quickly and you're wounding me. How is that possible? Like, how high can your ceiling go?
And also his personal perspective, you know?
Of course. But Kaido is someone who's like top 5 on most people's books.
Right.
So it's like, you can't deny that someone of that caliber has no Marines. He has nobody else but those 5 dudes. That weighs a lot in their favor in terms of like how powerful they were. I know folks want to meme the moment where like, well, Shanks and Kaido off screen before Marineford War, they had sake cups and Shanks took a knee. No.
You think Shanks beat him?
I think that Shanks.
No way.
And, I didn't say beat. Whoa. Mind you, King was there too, which is even
King was there as well.
Yeah, but Shanks and the boys are clean. What I'm saying is that Shanks had altercation, and then Kyle was able to gauge Shanks' power, and I think he realized that there was a monster in Shanks that he never really thought was that he never really first saw or he could perceive. Because I think personally that Shanks is stronger than Kaido. Personally, I have Shanks as my number 1 dude in the verse, the top.
For the most part, Shanks typically revolves around. He's typically my number 1. It used to be Dragon for a while, but I got to see something.
No, Dragon's fell off. He's done.
I got to see more. I got to see something at least.
I'd agree.
To keep putting him number 1.
But like I view Shanks as the current day Roger in terms of like how he operates in the world, and then how he's viewed in terms of like, okay, well, like even if you want to use, let's say the Ace light novel stuff, or like the kind of talk about Shanks, where like if Shanks is mad, he's unstoppable. It's like, okay, so like you have to wonder, and again, you can't deny it, like that Cloud Marineford is absurd. Like, okay, like Blackbeard's on a power high, and he's like, no, I'm good, not today, not you. It means
I think for Shanks, his strength you gotta respect, right? But I think more than anything, I think that was one of the first videos that I made on when I started making videos. Was like the real reason Shanks stopped the Marineford War was it wasn't just strength with Shanks. It was like influence, right?
Where I remember that, like, like Shanks, like he balances
because it's him,
and
right?
Yeah, like it's right.
If Kaido pulled up to Marineford to stop it,
they fight him still.
They're not stopping.
Yeah,
Big Mom, they're not stopping, right? It's like because it's Shanks. Because now we see Shanks is somewhat of a diplomat. Right, it's just him. Because I don't know. How do you feel about Shanks going to the Gorosei?
So the Gorosei, I think that Shanks, maybe this ties to his family. Like people say like he's a Quixote, like he's related to Dofi.
He's a celestial dragon.
Yeah, celestial dragon. Maybe that's possible. I'm not against the idea at all. Because Shanks and God Valley and Blackbeard have ties. They do have ties in terms of like God Valley and Blackbeard and Shanks. Like that incident happened, I think, on the same year Shanks was born and when Blackbeard was like 1 year old, something like that.
It's something there.
Yeah, so there's probably something there. Mm-hmm. But I think more so than anything, it's because Shanks, he is like a balancer of power in the world of like in like the new world. Like because the new world, the Marines they can't run the new world because the Yonko run for the most part. So they need someone to try and like
because they balance each other out.
Exactly. So it helps them. So he has that pull, he has that clout, and plus you could argue because he's a part of Roger's crew, they need an ally like that because he has a lot of influence just by being that and that alone. I mean, look at Buggy. When they found out he was part of Roger's crew, she
got a lot of respect.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Well, for Shanks though, I think do you think Shanks had the same realization that Kaido did? Meaning when we first, because this is an assumption, when Kaido first started out, he thought he could be someone like Joy Boy or be somebody that can change the world. When do you think Shanks came to that realization, to the fact that he would bet his arm on someone like Luffy? If he's already that strong and has that many pull and ambition, why not change the world himself? Is that not something he wants to do, or he understands his limitations?
I don't know what Roger whispered in Shanks' ear, but I get the feeling that Shanks never had that ambition. I get the feeling that Shanks was always going to be someone like he's more, in a sense, not like a Whitebeard, but more so the man just vibes, and he's there as like the primary gatekeeper to someone who's truly worthy, which may be the reason why him and Blackbeard had their altercation, because maybe that was Shanks in a way trying to perceive if he was actually someone worthy to be like the next Pirate King, because maybe Shanks has the idea that after this treasure, whatever it is found, there's going to be a global war.
Yeah.
And so whoever wins that global war is going to wind up dictating the flow of the world. If someone like Blackbeard is the face of that global war and then he wins, the face of the world after that is going to be atrocious. Like Blackbeard's going to do all sorts of crazy things. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be like someone like Kaido the same way. But someone like Luffy, who just really wants to be like the freest person in the ocean, that's ultimately like his end game. Yeah. I think that is way more in lockstep with what, you know, with what Roger wants to be. Like him, like Roger and Luffy are like, they're the D-Clan members that jive the same way. Like they're almost the exact same. And I think Shanks saw that in Luffy, and he could trust Luffy for the future to be that powerful. Yeah.
I was watching Lord of the Rings recently.
Ooh.
And with Aragorn and how he was like, it's almost like he was fearful to take the throne. Right? Where he felt like he didn't live up. He wasn't worthy of taking the throne. It made me think of Shanks, where because of him seeing Roger up close, does he look at it like, I can't even like choose or step in the footsteps or follow in the footsteps of someone like that? Like, I'm not the person. Do you think it's just reverence to someone like Roger?
I'm not too sure because
it's weird because Shanks is somebody that you think it would be easy for him to become the
It would be, but again, the important thing here is, what did Roger tell Shanks? We don't. There's one moment. Yeah, like after they come back, he whispers in Shanks' ear about something, and then Shanks starts to cry. What was that something? We don't know. I think that moment probably changed Shanks' whole thought process about becoming Pirate King if you want to be Pirate King. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it that, like, even someone like Buggy, who would have a good idea of what to go and to do, he doesn't want to be Pirate King. He wants to find like Captain John's like meager treasure. Okay, fine, whatever. But like other people, you can argue could be Pirate King. Like Whitebeard could have been Pirate King. Roger told him like what the D-Clan was, all that stuff, like before he died.
Yes.
Whitebeard didn't want that. So it's like maybe Shanks was like Whitebeard, like, okay, he understood that his place wasn't to be the Pirate King. I think that's more likely here, where he understood that his place wasn't to be the Pirate King, and he's there as a balancer, ready to make sure that the wrong person doesn't become Pirate King. And so Luffy, like, that's why he's always stoked to, like, he's always stoked to see Luffy, like, Luffy, yeah, hell yeah, Luffy, damn right, let's go, kid. I'm putting money on you, because for him, Luffy is that kid who actually can be, you know, probably just like Roger, a person worthy for Pirate King, and come at the right time to lead the war against the Tenryubito, because ultimately Luffy just wants to be the freest person in the ocean. That is his endgame dream. Outside of the big party, probably, which I
this would mean that Shanks would absolutely 100% know about the Joy Boy stuff.
I would agree, yeah.
And Sun God Nika and all that. He knows the history of the world.
I mean, listen, safe bet, honestly.
Yeah.
Like Rayleigh just told him. Rayleigh was like, yo, by the way, also that we know, here you go.
Because he saw him.
Yeah, Rayleigh wouldn't absolutely. Yeah. He knows everything. He knows everything. Yeah. So him and Shanks talked it out. Probably told him all the stuff, and then Shanks, I'm pretty sure, maybe when he was much younger, wanted to be Pirate King like Roger, but I'm pretty sure now he's like, no, because I understand that I need to try and find someone that can kind of like really be that person to be like a trustworthy king. Yeah. Like someone that's actually appropriate, and probably honestly has to be a D-Clan member, which I don't think he is.
I don't think he's a D either.
Yeah.
I made a video recently talking about how I don't think anybody really cares, any of the Yonko care about the Pirate King title. Whereas like it's just a means to an end. Like they all want something else, but they feel like that's the route they have to take to get it.
Big Mom. Okay, well, Blackbeard's a bit different, I think, in many respects, right?
Blackbeard he's after power.
He's after power, so okay.
He feels like that's gonna give him more power.
Right. In a general sense.
Yeah.
Big Mom wants her utopia, and Kaido wants to die. So
they don't really give a fuck about it.
Yeah. So Kaido just like
Shanks.
Yeah, exactly. And then Shanks, he's just vibing. So it's
he's
like
just vibing.
So no one really cares about, I suppose, the Pirate King, and then just being the person that could just chill afterwards. Luffy's the kind of guy that'll be like, yeah, I don't really care. Like, Pirate King's my dream, but afterwards, I mean, some folks theorize that he's gonna die afterwards. Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Oda doesn't kill anybody, so it's hard to say. But
yeah, but it'd be kind of crazy. The first one he does kill would be Luffy. Like, of the characters.
Yeah, right. Characters. Like, I don't know. I maybe Oda would only do that in a way to conclude the story so that he's not forced to write more.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I gotta kill the main character, or else I know I'm going to come back to the story.
There is one scene in Wano. It's during the Yamato flashback stuff where Ace is talking to Yamato about like this great man that Yamato knew about, which actually wound up being like Goldie Roger based on the book. And then he says, I wish I could have a drink with him and Luffy, or like him, like my little brother. Yes. So like, I think one of the ideas here is that based on that, Luffy dies, but then like we see like Luffy in like in the afterlife having a drink with Roger and Ace. Yes.
That would be okay.
Yes. So
that would be heavy though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Of course, absolutely. But it's like, but it follows
Brook playing Bing Sake.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, man. I mean, because arguably Brook would be like the last person alive on the crew, arguably, right? But
you've seen that image where Brook is like, playing
I've seen it before. I know what you're talking about, like the Graves, like White Graves style, A style, but all the strats. Yeah. But also, I think the thing is too, because folks say, well, no, it's not going to happen because Chopper's going to stop that. Because let's say Luffy gets the disease that kills Roger, Chopper will shut that down. Because that's Chopper's kind of like dream, to be able to cure any disease. Right. And what better way to shut that down than to cure the disease that actually killed the Pirate King? So so maybe he does live. So who knows? Yeah, who knows?
It's I'm not sure what I want yet.
Yeah. Same here.
In a way, because of how attached I am to One Piece, I don't want the story to end, right? And I'm curious as to the One Piece after Luffy. Right? Like after that, what's next? Is it just peace? Like, do we all just, how does Oda end it? Do we all come together? Because Luffy can't exist after the Great War. Well, as good as a pirate he is, he's still a pirate, right? So for them, they can't like pardon him and then try to curb every other pirate, because at the end of the day, with the new Marines in tow, Kobe being a part of that, ultimately he will chase Luffy to the ends of the earth, right?
Thing is that it depends on how bad the truth of the world is. That's something that I think is pivotal to this whole discussion. We don't know what the truth of the world really is. Like, you have to wonder, why exactly did Roger laugh when he first heard about the whole thing about Joy Boy? Like, why? Like he laughed. Like, what was going on there? Like, what is it? Like, what is this truth so important, so grandiose that finding it out is going to immediately lead to a global war? Like, this has to happen. Now you know the now you know the truth. This has to go down. This has to happen. We have this whole talk about like
the way it is anymore.
Right. Like, we have the whole talk about, like, from the Sea Kings. The Sea Kings, they make prophecies about this stuff. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Like they're saving Noah specifically for that moment.
Right. Also, too, they talk about the sovereigns.
The sovereigns are born now.
Right. So maybe Momonosuke is one of the sovereigns. Maybe he's Joy Boy. Maybe it's Vivi. Maybe, Shiroshi. And also now I think we have finally come into play the other ancient weapons. So my guess is that Blackbeard is making this run in Alabasta right now for Pluton, right? Yeah. And then Uranus could be something that ties to the Red Line, maybe Dragon. So there's so many options there. And so I think once we see, like, once the dust settles, after everything is done, and then Emu's probably defeated, or Blackbeard, whoever, and then Luffy is ultimately like the savior of the world, or like the villain, however the world wants to see it, then we can argue whether or not Luffy should be around or not. Because I think it's a very
it could be a situation like with Kobe, right? When Luffy is leaving the island, when it was like, where they're really thankful to him, right? Where they actually were seeing him off, but they couldn't officially say, hey, thank you. Could it be a situation like that where Kobe kind of lets him go, but then after that, it's like he has to go after him? Because do we see a 1v1 with Luffy and Kobe? I don't think we see it.
No.
I don't think we see it.
I mean, unless, okay, I don't know, because I mean, no, well, I don't know, because like, here's the thing, right? Because I know some folks. I mean, maybe you you're memeing, but Boa Hancock, and Kobe, I mean, listen, folks preach it.
I have been saying, right? I've been saying, if there's a time for Kobe to get a big W, now would be the time. Now would be the time. And I don't see,
against Boa Hancock.
And the thing is, no other warlord can really go down that they're going after. It doesn't make sense. Mihawk can't get captured. Buggy can't get captured. And Weevil can't get captured. So
Weevil's too new. Buggy's a meme overlord. And Zoro's dream. Stuff's not happening. Yeah.
So for Hancock, if she's captured again and they captured the pirate empress and realized that she was a former slave, that's like a trophy that they have.
That's what I think is like the best option, because
that's the best case scenario for the story.
So like imagine, I know Matt B talked about this before on like his channel. The idea of, instead of, let's say, Cole defeating Hancock, he defeats Thunderstone and Marigold, something like that. They get captured.
Yeah.
And then they get sent to the Holy Land. Boa Hancock needs help from someone. She goes to Luke for help.
Yeah.
And then this coincides with whatever's going on with Sabo. And then now we have, and now we have the Grand Fleet come into play.
Yeah.
And then this is the moment where the Grand Fleet solidify themselves as like Luffy's men globally.
Yeah.
Luffy is now leading a charge on the Holy Land to save Sabo and save Boa's sisters.
Right.
And then Boa and then other islands officially recognize themselves to be under Luffy's territory.
Yeah.
So then it winds up being like this massive power play in like 50 chapters, like before Elbaf or like whatever. And then that winds up being like the biggest thing that puts Luffy on the map outside what's going to happen after Wano Country. Because after Wano Country, it could be like, okay, well, it's not just Luffy. It was Luffy and it was Kid and then Law. So like they all get their clout. Like Drake, well, I suppose Drake, output, all those guys.
Drake
they get
at that
clout.
point, his cover is blown, right? So he got after Wano, he got.
But his sword blow. I'm not too sure.
Not sword, but Marines, because Apu heard it.
Oh.
Remember, Apu was like, I knew you were a Marine.
Oh, true. Yeah. No, true. Actually, they do know that. But also keep in mind that one CP0 guy did say that, like, we know who you really are.
You know,
or something like that.
With that, it was always vague. Like, do you know that he's a Marine or do you know that he's a member of Sword? Because if CP0 know of Sword, that's even more like crazy ramifications.
Yeah.
Like, it could be civil war within the world government.
So there's a lot of moving parts right now. And honestly, I'll be real with you. We're just stuck in Wano. We're just stuck in Wano right now.
Yes.
Wano's holding us back.
As much as I've enjoyed a lot of moments in Wano, I want to know what's going on.
Yes.
Right? I want to know what's going on with Sabo, what's going on. Dragon, do something, please. Right? Please just leave Kamabaka Kingdom. Just go.
Make a tornado. Just please. Do whatever, yo.
I feel like Dragon could be, he could go down as like one of the greatest disappointments.
Yo, I'd be crazy.
I don't think it's gonna happen. But so far, I'm disappointed. I'm just gonna say it. I think, Oda has his plans for Dragon, obviously.
Yeah.
But man, if he was at the Reverie with Green Bull and Fujitora,
but he wasn't there. Apparently, it was like, well,
he wasn't there.
Like that gust of wind that we
gust of wind that it was like, it was trolling. It was just like Oda, like, oh, it's a wind, and I'm like, oh, Dragon's definitely there. He's not there.
This man was legit sweating at Kamabaka.
He was sweating. Like, oh, what happened to Sabo?
Yeah, bro. At Kamabaka, mind you. At Kamabaka, take it as you would. But he was with the Okama sweating about Sabo. Like, what?
Bro, we were all skeptical after they left their base, right? After they got ran out by the Blackbeard pirates.
I wasn't. Like, I was like Team Blackbeard all damn day. I'm like, I knew. Jig is up.
I was like, that's... If somebody finds it, like, it's no longer useful. I get that. But bro, they ran him up out of there, and it's just
the claims that folks made were fraudulent because, like, look, Blackbeard rolled on up with like a few good men and a few ships, right? This dude bails, and the folks say, okay, well, he's bailing because he doesn't want to fight against Blackbeard. He's our main opponent.
There's no purpose. There's no purpose.
No purpose. But at the same time, now there's another situation here where he could have been there easily as like some kind of win entity, whatever the hell, in the Red Line and assisting Sabo. Sabo goes in there with Glimber, Karasu, Morley, and what they do against two admirals, mind you, impressive.
Two admirals, yeah.
But if Dragon was there, you have to wonder how things would have flowed. And the situation probably would have been a lot different. At least in terms of like,
though. They still lose.
Ooh, listen,
here's
some folks argue that Dragon's the #1 dude on the planet.
Sure,
power.
But even the #1 dude on the planet is not going to be two admirals.
Wait. The #1 dude plus his right hand man Sabo, and then Lindbergh crossing Morley, who can do whatever.
The issue here is. The #1 dude plus the two admirals, he's gonna have vice admirals around because the vice admirals are close. And if the big red dog pulls up, it might be over for a lot of people.
Okay, wait. Now we're adding factors here. I'm just saying. wait. Yeah, now you're just piling on cats. I'm talking about these two admirals.
Yeah,
two on 5. Okay, 2 on 5, and the one who is the strongest guy on the planet. Yeah, they're winning.
I don't think.
Because
I don't think Karasu, Morley, Lindbergh, or Bello Betty
wasn't there.
Well, she wasn't there.
Yeah.
I don't think none of them are factors.
Nah, they're factors, dog. Because okay. Okay. Strongest guy on the planet, Dragon. All right, in theory, right?
Yeah.
He requires one animal to handle without a doubt.
Right.
We've seen Sabo go 1-1 against Fujitora. We've seen it happen, so he can do it.
It's.
I'm not. Yeah. Now, to be fair,
yeah,
I think he would lose that fight. Ultimately.
Yes.
But we've seen it to where he can actually do it for a long period of time.
But here's the thing, though.
With Lindbergh, Karasu, and Morley at your back too.
Let me ask you this, Cole.
Yeah, what's up?
Who's stronger, Yamato or Sabo?
I actually have Sabo over Yamato.
Right.
So me personally, even though I think Yamato is amazingly powerful and I give her a lot of credit, whatever, man. I'm sorry, I get confused. I get confused. All right. So I don't know if I'm on PC it, but the thing about it is that I think. All right, you can cop that if you want to. I don't know. I think. I rate Sabo hella highly. I put him like up there. Like for me, he is the last strongest person behind an admiral.
Has Luffy passed him yet?
He did, but only when he started to learn Conqueror's Haki and Fusion. That's my personal opinion because I rate Sabo that highly.
Well, okay. So what Sabo did, right?
Yeah.
Is somewhat equivalent to what Yamato did versus Kaido, no?
So the thing about it is that Yamato actually confirmed that she didn't do anything. Because remember, like,
well, she knew she couldn't beat him.
Yeah, no, but like she literally said, I think it was the chapter after they do the combo attack with Luffy and Kaido, right?
Yeah.
She's transforming into like regular form, and then she's like walking away, and all of a sudden her skull like splits open, she starts to bleed a lot, and then she's like, oh damn, wow, like my Thunder Bagua like didn't do anything to Kaido, like at all. Like I couldn't do anything to Kaido at all. And like we can even see in terms of I think it's the Narukabri arrow versus the Vajra arrow. Kaido's Vajra arrow was so powerful to where Yamato was like blown back into like she was forced back tremendously. Whereas the Narukabri arrow, Kaido saw it like it was a bug.
But so remember, like Sabo fighting Fujitora, he's fighting for his fucking life, and he was even like, "Yo, why?"
I don't think it. No, that's the thing.
Sabo was like, "Yo, why? This is not a Navy admiral."
Stop it, Brago. Stop it.
Sabo was going through it, bro. He was.
What are you talking about? Sabo was fun. No. Sabo Fujitora was way more even than Yamato versus Kaido.
Bruised up so badly.
No. Relax. No. He had a few scratches here or there. I will grant you that. Yes. He had a few. You can go back, you can rewatch it, you can reread it. Sabo had a few scratches. He was
noticeably hurt.
No. But Sabo was still confident. Sabo was ready to go if he needed to. Yamato was like distinctly huffing and puffing, bleeding from her forehead.
Sabo,
like, God damn, like, Daddy kicked my ass again today.
Wasn't Sabo panting? He was bruises all over his face.
No.
Puffing. He said Fujitora's not taking him seriously.
You are gaslighting yourself.
He said he's not taking him seriously, bro.
Stop.
Like, bro, stop playing when we fight.
No. It cut literally both ways.
Please.
No, because listen, hold on. Sabo just got the Mera. He was testing out his new powers with the Mera, and him and Fujitora were clashing blow for blow for a while. Sabo had a few scratches on him, which, yeah, I agree with that, which is why I say he would lose that fight. But if Fujitora is going to beat Sabo, that's extreme diff.
Oh, hell no.
That's extreme diff, yo. Okay?
I don't agree at all.
Okay, wait.
Fuji was clean.
How can you say that when someone like Marco...
Sabo's using fire and Fujitora is clean. How is that?
Okay, no. He's clean for the amount of time that they're fighting, one. And then two, again, that was a brand spanking new ability he just got right then and there. They did that. He's like kind of like Kaku, imagine it, right? Kaku, or let's say Caulifla in CP9. But they don't know how to use their powers well at all. They're just doing random stuff.
To be fair.
That's Sabo. Yeah.
It's kind of implied that Fujitora is kind of figuring out his devil fruit too.
What?
Yeah.
Where?
When he was like bringing down the meteors, was like, oh, I didn't know. Like he was like testing shit out sometimes. That's how he felt like. It felt he was. He felt like a noob.
No. It's because he can't see into space how big the meteors are.
No, it's not necessarily that. It felt like when Fujitora was using his devil fruit, it kind of felt like he was just trying shit.
I don't get that at all.
It felt experimental with him.
I don't get that vibe at all. I think Fujitora had it for a minute now. I think Fujitora has found his powers. I mean,
do you think he got it before or after he became an admiral?
I think, okay. When though did he become an admiral? When?
Probably during the 2-year time skip.
Yeah. So if this guy had his abilities at, let's say, a year, right? Or even 6 months, he had longer than Sabo did. That's for damn sure.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
He absolutely did. And I give you that with Sabo. He just got his fruit. But Fujitora was clean.
Fujitora was clean. Yes, I admit that. But Sabo wasn't like
so why do you think go extreme diff?
Because Sabo wasn't banged up, huffing and puffing, wheezing, coughing up blood, missing a tooth. No. Sabo had a few scratch marks on him, literally.
No, but so he was noticeably bruised, right? And that's Oda showing you that, okay, there's still a different level here.
Okay.
And again, with Oda, typically it's very subtle. He tries to do it to kind of protect the characters a little bit, but he likes letting you know in a way that this character is he has the advantage. It's almost like Kizaru and Rayleigh, right?
I would agree with that, but here's the thing, though, right? Mm-hmm. So here's how I perceive it. Here's how I'm voicing it, right?
Yeah.
The first commanders of a crew, or like the right-hand man of a crew, they're going to be very hard to defeat by an admiral one-on-one. I can base it on Sabo. I can also base it on Marco and Kizaru. Because Marco Kizaru, yes, I can. Because Marco Kizaru, that was a very even, very fair one-on-one fight. No. So it's actually implied that it was several exchanges off screen, because when Whitebeard has the heart attack and Marco's off guard, who's facing against Marco? Kizaru. So
Kizaru just took the opportunity.
That's what I'm saying. But without that heart attack, the opportunity doesn't happen. Which means that Marco and Kizaru have been able to show to go for at least a few, I'll argue, off-screen implied, they can go for a while, one-on-one.
But Cole, for Marco, for him, he's a special case out of all the commanders, even, right? Because it's about, you got to endure him. Because
that's kind of right now, because after King stuff, King kind of operates similarly, like not the same way, but similarly.
But for King is a trick to him.
Yeah,
once you figure out the trick, like it's pretty much curtains if you can react. But I'm not. That's minimizing what he can do, and I don't want to do that.
But I'll say this though, right? Just for clarification, even though Marco's tricky, he has a stamina limit, because you see that in the arc, obviously, with King and Queen at the same time. But also, I think Sabo's still stronger than Marco.
Whoa.
Yeah. Again, I rate Sabo that highly. Okay. I think Sabo is literally the guy that's right under the admirals. The only other first commander I have over Sabo,
Ben,
that's right, Ben Beckman. That's the only dude, because Ben Beckman, I think, is.
Do you believe the Ben Beckman hype?
Oh hell yeah! I am a Shanks. I'm a Radar Pirate fanboy. I stand that crew. In my personal opinion, I mean, listen. When you have that amazing chapter, like the ultimate chapter, and it's only Ben Beckman, Lucky Root, and Yasop mentioned by name by Brand New when they go on the Yonko cruise. They don't mention Katakuri. They don't mention King. They don't mention any. All right. So we know now that Shanks and his boys are built different. But it is what it is.
I think out of all these Yonko crews, right?
Yeah.
I personally feel like these guys were already established before they joined Shanks' crew.
Arguably true.
Whereas for the others, they got established through association. Right? So for Marco, he was a kid. He was following around Whitebeard. He was an apprentice.
Yeah.
For King, he was basically found by Kaido. He was he was an experiment. He was not experiment. He was being experimented on. Then Katakuri, that's like, that's his son. So it's like, I think Ben Beckman was like that guy before he even met Shanks, but he realized Shanks was more of that guy type shit. The partner, I think he's Shanks' partner, right? And then even when Shanks, didn't he go looking for Yasop?
He did, but the implication here is that because Shanks has, because his crew is so more tight knit, but as a result, they have to be a cut above the rest in order to be like a Yonko caliber crew. That's what again, like Katakuri's powerful as all hell. Recognized, like the guy barely got wounded at all before Luffy and that kind of stuff. Right. King the Wildfire, devastating fighter. I mean, think about this, right? If Kaido or if Big Mom's crew were Marine Ford, who's fighting against the admirals? King the Wildfire, Katakuri, Queen the Plague, Cracker, like all those guys, right? They're fighting against the admirals. So the same way I see Marco is the same way I see King, the same way I see Katakuri for the most part. But I just kind of gauge, okay, well, who's stronger than who based on like whatever factors I gauge. And for me, like the way I have it among the right-hand man is that among the Yonko is that I have Benny at number 1. Among the Yonko, number 2 is Katakuri. Number 3 is either, I think it's Marco, then number 4 is King. But I'm not sure exactly which one.
So you have Katakuri easily over King, it seems.
Oh, yeah. Katakuri is my boy. Katakuri, I think, is, I mean, he has like everything outside of like some crazy, he has Conqueror's Haki. He has like, to date, the best observation Haki to date in this series right now. And then Armor Haki, he was already a grade above Luffy even back then.
Okay, so I'm a Katakuri fanboy. So every time I talk about Kat, I'm wary of that fact.
All right.
Right? So I'm inclined to agree with you.
There we go.
You know what I mean? But to play devil's advocate, with King, he seemed to have insane durability. He had a bunch of things in his arsenal, right? It seems like he has magma type power.
Yeah, the Imperial Fire was the
Imperial Fire. Insane speed, great defenses. How do you compare the two? Whereas Katakuri, he was taken down by Luffy in so few hits.
So the thing here is with Katakuri and Luffy, it seemed to be a lot more of a emotional driven loss on Katakuri. Actually, you can argue it was a tie because honestly, the fight was already over. 10 minutes had passed. They both get up. Katakuri falls to the ground. Luffy walks away, then falls asleep in Peckham's arms, but Katakuri is still conscious talking to Brûlé. So it's like Katakuri is the only guy I've seen after a major fight where he's still conscious talking to his little sister about like he appreciates Luffy, like, oh my god, Oni-chan, you're so kawaii desu ne. Katakuri's like, oh my god, blush, sister, Oni-chan. So it's like all this stuff is like, wait a minute, okay, so Katakuri, like with that ending, clearly a lot different. And then on top of that, it gets a bit shaky too when his major wound that he took is self-inflicted with his own stab. And even still, like Luffy gets the credit to where he was able to survive all of Katakuri's attacks. But Katakuri, at some point, I would argue, was pulling some of his punches. I would personally argue, because he wasn't using his greatest weapon at a point in time, the Mole Spear. He was like, screw it, Mole Spear's gone. I'm gonna use my fist now against Luffy. So I personally argue that Katakuri, basically see in terms of like his Haki is outstanding. Better Armor Haki off the gate than Luffy. Conqueror's Haki off the gate. Okay, Armor Haki off the gate. He has an awakening. Whoa, okay. Yes. He has an awakening. I'm not seeing King Law fighting with any zone awakening. That didn't happen. Okay. And then on top of that, when you think about just how versatile he was, like he could seal you in Mochi. He could have Mochi come out of nowhere and just, you know, like attacking from all angles. In the anime, they make like a pseudo marksman. I'm like, Katakuri had so much. He had so much going on for him. And even though King Law Fire as well. Yeah. So even though like he didn't have any like crazy like atypical Phoenix Fire like regen body, you're barely gonna be able to hit this man because his Haki is already too powerful as it is in terms of the Argent Haki. He can dodge any attack.
You think King is fast enough to hit Kat?
I think at times he can be, but I think it'll be hard to hit Katakuri because Katakuri
can Kat injure King though.
Okay, hold on. Question then: is King the Wildfire as fast as Snake Man Luffy?
I would say he's close.
I'm not sure if he's close, but I don't think he's there yet. Or I don't think he's there per se. I mean,
I'd probably put the edge to Snake Man Luffy, but I'd say King is pretty fast.
Yeah, you know, it's pretty fast. I agree. So I think at times he would hit Katakuri, but Katakuri can still dodge most of the attacks. And of course, Katakuri's gonna have trouble hurting King of the Wildfire, given like his fire state, which is on or off. But he can still kind of seal King of the Wildfire ultimately if like the stamina plays a role in this whole thing. Because it's like you have like, okay, this man Luffy went to Snake Man. Katakuri was still timing him, yo. Like even after his power, Katakuri still had him. Like,
Katakuri could have ended the fight a lot sooner if he went to donut mode.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Because he caught Snake Man and
Luffy had to run.
Yeah.
He was defeated like twice.
How do you think Katakuri performs against Zoro? The Zoro that King had to go up against?
I think Zoro loses to Katakuri. I think Zoro loses to Katakuri, Sabo. And Zoro's powerful, don't get me wrong. But this state that Zoro achieved, I mean, like, it's Gear 4, but like worse in terms of like he has to lose life force in order to maintain this hell's
yes.
What's called
well, it seems like he has a limit where he could die.
Right, exactly.
It's really pulling a lot from him, which gets better over time, obviously.
So then imagine someone like Katakuri who can dodge almost every attack you can possibly do. And in order to actually hit him, you need Snake Man speeds or higher. And even still, it's not a guarantee because he can still time you even after that. It's like
I think Zoro tagging King in his speed form is a feat, though.
Because
Zoro is not necessarily fast. He's agile and he's quick.
True.
And he has insane reaction time.
Yeah, no, they all do, of course.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like with Katakuri, I don't know, can his power match what Zoro can bring? I don't know about that.
So I would say, like, in terms of sheer raw power, Zoro is strong. I think Zoro's one of the strongest. However, Katakuri, again, is so versatile. Like, Katakuri, with the awakening at his disposal, he can change the ground around him to really mess up Zoro's rhythm in many respects. King the Wildfire, when he's in speed form, that whole fire off, fire on, that's an easy tell. Katakuri is not an easy tell, not in the slightest. The only reason why Luffy could tell was because of the Merienda. Yeah, exactly. So it's like Katakuri is not an easy tell at all. And then on top of that, Katakuri has Conqueror's Haki, and maybe not in Fusion, because folks want to argue he does or not. I don't think he does, I'll be real with you.
I don't think he does, but Oda could very easily give it to him.
Oh, no.
He can't.
The reason why that sucks.
He can't. It does, but it's something that Oda had to say, because if Luffy had beaten Katakuri with that as well, it would make less sense. I don't think he has it. I don't think he has it.
Like, for what,
I don't think he has it.
Because how I see is that he has his armor haki is already a step above. So like his hardening is so potent to where it can maybe match a Rio, maybe even more depending on like the block edge emoji.
Do you think he has a capability to learn something like that, or is it too late?
In Fusion, I think he does. Yeah, I think he does. I mean, because would Katakuri be like the new leader of the Big Mom Pirates?
It depends on what Oda does with him. It depends on what Oda does with Big Mom. If Katakuri is a new leader, then Oda could have it in a way where Big Mom, it gets past, like, you know how Sai after Danchin Jiao passed, now, you know, it could be a thing that just gets something like that.
Because Katakuri has greater ambition than Marco or King, because he has Conqueror's Haki on paper, right? So it's like, but based on that, he has greater ambition. And then, I mean, I would assume that Ben has
he has a higher ceiling than all.
Right, exactly. He has Conqueror's Haki. Again, like, I think that Zoro's powerful as all hell. Don't get me wrong. Like, right now he's leveled to like a whole new level of power, but it comes at a cost to where if he's in that Hell's, I forgot what it's called, like the Hell Onigiri, what was it called? Enma, King of Hell state.
King of Hell.
Yeah. If he's in the King of Hell state where he's using Conqueror's Haki on his swords, which I don't think he can actually fully control at all. I think he's just kind of doing it like based on Enma's.
He's going to get better with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. But right now, there's too many things that Katakuri has in his favor in terms of versatility, in terms of like, again, Katakuri could have chosen to shut down Luffy's Gear 4 transformation. He let him transform into Snake Man. He gave him like, yeah, go ahead, transform. I'm waiting for you. Katakuri, you can argue, is actually, I think, okay, it's gonna be tricky. I think like Katakuri, yeah, it's gonna be tricky.
You felt yourself going too far.
Yeah. But I'll put it like this, okay?
Go ahead.
I made a video, and I think I'd still hold some degree of truth. Yeah. Where if Katakuri and specifically Kizaru to fight, Katakuri may win that fight.
You underrated the Admiral so much.
No.
It is so disgusting.
The reason why I say it is because
I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.